the 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Wednesday. I said Wednesday, kind of mild, 80 degrees afternoon with my man Big E. Believe me, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since we got a chance to get together. Yep. What's going on, Big E?
Oh man, a lot's been going on. Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we've been able to shoot, but I was out in Colorado for a week, church camp, and then come back with COVID, so took a week off there, and then last week we were just both busy. So
busy. I'll tell you folks right now, I'm staying so busy, man. Zoe's playing here, Zoe's playing there. It's just one of those deals, man. She's playing this weekend up in Dallas. Last week was in Wichita. We'll come back and play here in a couple of weeks here in Oklahoma City for the Nationals, man. She's got picked up to play with Kansas United, a team that beat us a couple weeks ago in Wichita. Excited to see her playing ball. It's always good to see your kid when she go play with somebody else. You kind of watch her game and how she rack with different girls, and it's been pretty cool. But hey, we'll get off that. We'll talk about, right now we got high school football kicking off here in a couple weeks, man. These coaches are getting excited. Man. They're starting to taste it. And, everybody got the same thing on their mind to try to win a gold football. And folks, I tell you, I think this year is going to be wide open. COVID's going to be kind of shut down a little bit. And, tonight we're going to have a special guest on tonight. We're going to have Robert Jones, the head football coach at Del City. I'm kind of excited about hearing that because I think Robert keeps it 100%. So it'd be fun to kind of talk to him. But I tell you this though, this week I got a chance to see some of the coaches because our job had some bio still, and we went from a 24-pack to a 12-pack. So I get a phone call from one of our guys from work. This is David Wiskowski. He's our NA guy. Not only do we sell beverages, but we sell stuff that young men and women can drink, kids. Sparkling ice, bio, all that kind of stuff. But I get this phone call, and then he says, "Hey, Tony, I know you do a lot with, Keep It 100 and some of the coaches in schools. Hey, we got, 400 some cases. Can you get rid of it?" And you know what? I picked up the phone and dialed a couple of coaches, and bing, bing, bing. They all came together. Got the chance to see Coach Dunn. Got the chance to see Robert. I didn't get to see Robert. He was there. I was in my office. But he was there, and got a chance to see Coach Hall over in Miller City. I think Aaron picked it up from Miller City. Then I know Newcastle jumped in. So you had all the schools around the metro. I'm sorry for the ones I didn't get it to. Coach Ginn, I got you on the next big deal. If it's some water or something, I donate to the Bethel Wildcats. So take me up on that. So I didn't get you no bio, but I get you something different. So he hit me up, and I felt bad because I didn't get him done. But it was just like a spur of the moment. Who gonna call? Boom. Yes, Ginn, you are on the top of my list, but this time I just missed you. So that's me not keeping it 100. I kept it 99. But Big E, what else is going on though, man? You got football around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
You got guys getting offered. You got guys signing. You got guys just doing everything, man. It's gonna be an exciting football year. I think it's wide open. I know some people got the Jackets picked number 2 in the coaches poll. I think Bigsby is number 1 in the big small 6'8", and Tata was number 2. And I know that's your school. So how do you feel about that?
Oh man, I don't know. It's gonna be different this year as far as the Yellow Jackets go. A little bit. You still got Still back there at quarterback, Luttrell at running back. I expect Luttrell to have a breakout season this year. He kind of put his name on the map last year, but this summer he put in some work. He clocked a 4.3 40. Something crazy like that. He's pretty good. So they're gonna have a pretty explosive offense this year, just like they did last year. But Bixby's right. Bixby's Bixby. They got the number 1 tight end in the nation.
He's tight.
He's big. He's strong. He's fast. He can do it all. And then his little brother, or I think they're twins. One of them's older by a couple minutes, but they got him at DB, and he's pretty good. And of course, they still got Presley, don't they?
Still got Presley.
So
I thought the youngest one was, I know I mentioned a couple weeks ago, probably Coach Cole, from Bigsby hasn't corrected me, but I thought the youngest one was going to be a freshman. He's only going to be in 8th grade, so they graduate and they bring another one. So there's probably another Presley in the wings waiting after the one that's 8th grade. So, but no, man, like you said, you kind of talked about this. So we'll have Coach Jones and we'll talk about his team. I think Miller City, they kind of changed their offense a little bit. They're kind of running the wing team, but kind of a passing wing team. So be interested to see what they do. But I'm hearing good things about Public City North. I heard they're kind of loaded. Or Stillwater kind of won the 7-on-7 that you guys went through a couple years over at Norman North, I heard Stillwater. He said Gundy looks good. He's slinging the ball. Think about it. Anytime you got a college coach as your dad and you're playing in that town, they're going to get the best kids to come in that town. So I don't think Stillwater's going to fall off. I think they said PC North looks really good. So I think 6A small is going to be open. I know Zoe's trying to do some things in 6A too, but you still got the other side of the state that's going to take care of business. Jinx is not going to fall off. A team that won state that wasn't predicted to win state. Everybody had Owasso, Broken Arrow, Union, but Stillwater's the team. I'm not Stillwater, but Jinx was the team that found a way to win, and they've been doing it for so long. Even when Tremble was there, he won so many, knocking everybody off, and Owasso got them one, Broken Arrow got them one. But I said that big 6A is wide open. I think Mustang be a little bit better, but I still think you still got to beat the team on the other side of the state. Just one of them Tulsa teams that you have to knock off. I think Zoe got a lot of talent, but can they find a way to win? That's the thing about it. Can you find a way to win when it's time to win? You kind of saw that last night in the NBA championship. Everybody wanted Chris Paul to win. I kind of wanted Chris Paul to win, but you know what? Hey. Giannis said not the Greek, the freak was going to take it on. He put everybody on his back last night, scored 50 points. And I'm not a Milwaukee Bucks fan, but I think they were a good team. They did everything right to win the ball game. The team was down 0-2, Biggie, 0-2, and came back and won 4 straight games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just one of the most. I was watching the game last night, and that was just like one of the most remarkable performances I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean. You grew up with MJ and all of them, but Giannis is one of those guys that I've been a fan of for a while, and for the Bucks to do it, you got all these teams building super teams, and you got LeBron in LA with Anthony Davis, and now they're going to try to go get Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook in the offseason, and then but Milwaukee built their team through the draft. I mean, they made a couple trades, but
and none of those guys are big name guys. You got Lopez. The only guy on their team was a lottery guy. Holiday. The night before, the last game he scored 30, 40 something points. Last night the guy, he couldn't hit a shot, but he played good defense, did the right things. What's the other guy's name? The shooting guard, is it Middleton or?
Oh yeah, Middleton.
Middleton, man. I mean, this guy's not a no-name guy, but people found out who he was. And it's good to see an underdog team like that, like you said, don't have a bunch of stars, but find a way to win. And it's good to see. And the Greek reminded me of so much of Jordan, taking over a game. Hey, he wanted the game. He was going to do everything. Those guys were counting money, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But last night, he's counting his ring on his finger, while that guy in Phoenix is still counting that money, and he can't go buy a ring because the Greek, the freak, took it from him. That's how I'm saying, took it from him. But Big E, like I said, man, with football right around the corner, though, man, it's really interesting. You had some coaches move. Had Coach Don going over to Carl Albert. Robert Jones taking on the new head coach at Dell City. Coach Brown leaving the Choctaw Yellow Jackets. To me, people might not say, but I think that's a big loss. The guy was a hype man. The guy was a dog. All 4 knees and crawl around.
Man, he was crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Get you hyped. Not saying they don't have that same kind of energy, but Coach Brown, man, he brought the best out of man. And with the recruiting, man, to see big Alton, big country, starting to get some big time offers, man. I mean, the kid is probably up to 10, 11 offers, and a couple of D1 offers. So now he got some schools that he can choose from. And they, like I said, I think you talked about Latrell. I'm probably really surprised that he hasn't got an offer yet. So it's going to be really interesting, though, man. I know I'm going to say some of this thunder for Coach Jones, because I know he'll kind of put some of this stuff to rest, what's going on in high school sports, and with some of the kids, transferred out, moving, and all that kind of stuff, because it seems like nowadays, man, kids just pack up and leave. There's no loyalty. But, hey, that's what you got to do. But, hey, that's why we're here. We want to keep it 100 Oklahoma high school sports and tell you everything that's going on. One thing we will talk about real quick, man, I'll let Big E talk about it. Like we talked and we talked and we talk, and I know people think we just be talking. But I got to say, we will be giving away a scholarship. We do got a young man from
Crooked Oak.
Yeah.
His name is Jesus Solis. He plays soccer over there at Crooked Oak. He'll be the recipient of our $500 scholarship. So congratulations to him. And, hopefully that'll help out with anything and with your college endeavors. But, appreciate you and what you did. And, But so he's our spring sport recipient.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and,
sir.
We still got a fall recipient to give, and we'll give that out toward the end of fall sports.
Yes, sir.
But if you have a young man or woman play sports in Oklahoma in high school, and you think they're
worthy of getting a scholarship.
Yeah, worthy of getting the scholarship, hit us up. DM me or Tony on Twitter. We'll put some names in the pot, and then we'll select somebody to win the scholarship.
So, folks, I mean, like you said, man, that's pretty cool. This young man getting a scholarship, $500. If it helps pay for his books, if it helps pay for his meal plan, then whatever it does. But, he got a scholarship from Keeping It 100. You tell me another high school podcast, anything sports related that we're doing with high school kids that's doing that kind of stuff. And that's what we do. You tell me another group that's doing what me and Big E does. There's not one. And that's why I can say I can keep it 100 up on my school sports, because that's what we are here for the kids. We're here to take, yes, there's going to be times that you're going to not like what I say, but 95% of the time, I keep it 100 and I keep the truth. Some people don't like to hear the truth, but at the end of the day, I'm all about the kids, all about the babies. You hear me? Kiss them on the cheek, tell them you love them, put them to bed, because it's all about the kids, because you know what? You see a lot of kids go off to college, and guess what? Some don't make it. And that's just keeping it real. Some in the real world, like me and Big E, he's still in college, but I'm just saying, you get the real world, man, it's a whole different ball game. You got to pay your own bills, you got to do your own things. While you're in college, man, use them like they're using you. And that's just keeping it real, because I'm telling you, after 4 or 5 years, it's over, baby. You're in the real world. You got to make that car payment. You got to pay that car insurance. You got to pay that house payment. You got to do a lot of things you wasn't used to doing. So use them schools like they're using you, though. But like I said, I am so excited about football season. I think it's going to be wide open, man. I just tell you, we're going to get out there and do some games. Like I talked to Don this morning. I told him I'd come over and, do a preview. I think we're going to, we had talked about doing something, with Hudenberg and those. I haven't really got that finalized, but I know I got to finalize. I can do a coaching show with Dale City One Weekly, and actually we can do it with each school. I don't think a school's going to turn us down. With the car business the way it is right now, there ain't no cars in the on the lots to probably do it in the showcase route, and that just me being funny. But I'm so excited about what's going on with high school sports, man. Hopefully we don't have the mask. Hopefully, the games are wide open, man, and everything is good to go. That you can get to the games, and it's not a spread apart. I'm ready to go to a game on a Friday night where everybody get in stands and get pumped and get ready, though, because I think it's wide open. I was looking at the Vibe magazine the other day, man, and they had some of the kids on there. I think Choctaw had 4 or 5 kids on there, with Steele, with Mcclellan, and Deshaun Brown. They got kids left and right. That tells me, folks, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna get it started. I'm gonna get it started real quick. You better go win a championship. You got that many D1 spots. You got that many kids on that Vibe magazine. Because I'm telling you right now, everybody is shooting for the Yellow Jackets. Every time you turn on the radio, they're talking about who?
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, man. I was listening to Sports Animals today. Listening to Franchise Day, and I had what do you call his name? Damn it, what's his dang name? Him and another guy was talking about the Yellow Jackets. Like, hey, you need to go see Jay Corbin. And I don't know, they was talking about bees or what. It's like, get stung by a bee, you know what it feels like. But, it's cool that, Choctaw's getting all that hype. But I just tell you right now, man, I think it's wide open, though, man. I think, like I said, Public City North, I think Booker T's going to be up. They had some kids hurt last year.
Yeah.
I think they'll be back this year. I think Sand Springs has done some good things, man. Had some kids move in, from Tulsa McLean to come over there. I just think that, that they're going to get the ball rolling over there. So I don't even think Bigsby is going to defeat it. You heard it first right here on Keep It 100 Oklahoma School Sport. Somebody would knock Bigsby off. I'm not saying Bigsby won't win the state championship, but somebody will knock Bigsby off this year. Kind of like your Colorado Titans. I'm going to tell you right now, I love you, Coach Dunn. I love you, Coach Dunn. I love you. I love you, love you, love you. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose a couple ball games this year because, hey, man, you lost so many kids, and you got to start all over rebuilding some of those kids that you had. And it's not saying, because I've seen Coach Rose do this, go 5-5 and still win the gold ball. Because it's all that matters at the end of the year. Nobody give a damn if you go undefeated. Nobody gives a damn. All they care about the end of the year, you put the ring on, and you getting that gold ball. Am I right or wrong, Big E?
Absolutely.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
I don't know. You said that about Carl Albert last year, and you were eating your words.
Man, I'm going to tell you, Big E, it's a whole new year, baby. It's a whole new year. I mean, you had a quarterback that was there for 4 years. I mean, he ran the show. He was a coach on the field. He's not there. Not taking nothing from Reed the Crazy. Not taking nothing from him, but he still got to go play some games. He's never been in a varsity game. The kid's good, but you still got to go play a game, though.
Yeah.
Kind of thing over at Dell City. And I talked up with Coach Jones get here. Same thing with Dell City. They got a bunch of guys looking at D1 kids. I mean, you got people coming after those kids left and right. But does he have that quarterback that can control the game? Does he have that coach on the field that can control the game when it's a tight situation? You know what? Still, he's grown up. He's not a sophomore no more. He's a junior. He's starting to get some offers. You know, he knows, hey, I got to be a better player because everybody's watching him, man. Every time you turn on Twitter, his name's on Twitter. So he got so many damn eyes on him. He can't fart. And without somebody smelling it, because you know what? That's what we do. We keep it 100. But I'm just saying, when you got that much hype and that much glory looking at you, everybody's watching. When they want to see you do something wrong, because that's like I tell people all the time. Don't get me wrong. This is keeping it 100. It's easy to report bad news because everybody will hear what's bad. When it's good, nobody want to sit there and say, man, you know, Ethan's a good kid and he does this. He goes to church every Sunday. He's a good kid. But if I say, man, Ethan's out there smoking weed and Ethan's out there drinking, everybody wants to be part of that. Everybody wants to be part of that. You know what I'm saying? So this kid, you know, he has to do everything right. He has a spotlight on him because one, he's trying to get recruited. You know, college coaches are watching every move he makes. The kid has the size, the figure. I mean, he runs good. So it's going to be wide open to see what some of these kids can do, though. But I just tell you, man, like I told you earlier, I think Reed the Crazy could be the player of the year in 5A football. It's going to be so fun to see what some of these kids can do. Bishop McGinnis, you know, they got to replace their quarterback, Luke. Luke Juke was, you know, he was the man the last couple of years. You got to replace that. So that's why I said, you know, Carl Albert, they got the players. You still got Buddy back there that can run the ball. But the still thing is, if Reed can't complete passes, they're going to put 9-10 in the box, you know, to try to hold him back. So it's going to be real interesting. You know, Memphis City still got their man, you know, that's been there for a couple of years. The kid is fast as hell, but you know what? They're going to have to throw the ball. You can't just sit there and just hold the ball because people don't put everything in the box. But like I said, I'm really excited to see what Pumpkin City's going to North do. I've heard nothing but good things about them this summer, that they put the work in. You know, that quarterback, you know, I think it's the coach's son. I think that, you know, he's put the work in with Tom George or whoever he's going to. He's got himself better, but it's going to be really interesting to see what some of these teams can do, though, because I'm saying you can't count out Lawton. You know, you can't count him out. You can't count out Deer Creek. You know, Deer Creek got probably the best lineman in the state. You know, I mean, you can't count him out. You know, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to do. Now, one team you probably can count out. I love you, Coach Edmonds, but your PC West, woo-wee! That should be everybody's homecoming, and that's me keeping it 100. Oklahoma high school sports. What's up? What else is up, Big E?
Let's talk about some of these players. I got Prep Red Zone pulled up. It's got Gentry Williams, ranked number one player in the state right now.
Is that the quarterback of Booker T?
Quarterback, they have him listed as an athlete.
Oh, athlete. That's the kid that got hurt last year. Played corner, receiver. Yeah, I'm sorry. The quarterback was a pretty good kid too, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Booker T is another one of those schools that always seems to have a few kids every year, and they're usually in the running. But Gentry Williams, you know, he's got a bunch of offers. Top player in the state, 5-star recruit. He could go just about anywhere in the country, I believe. He hasn't made his decision yet, but when he does, we'll be sure to talk about that. Talon Shetron, Edmond Santa Fe wide receiver.
Yes.
He was committed to OU. Then his brother gets an offer from OSU. He commits to OSU, and then now Talon flipped his commitment. He'll be an OSU Cowboy next year.
So they both gonna be OSU Cowboys.
Yep.
Well, I mean that's good. They want to wear that orange and the only time you look good in orange is on Halloween. So if they want to go down there and never win a Big 12 championship or ever get a ring, there you go, son.
Yeah.
You know, he made that decision to always be second. Some people got to be second. I guess he wants to be second. Not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying, why would you not go to OU? You got the
well, I don't know. With this news that just broke today, I mean, right before I came over here, I'm scrolling through Twitter and it says that OU and Texas could be on their way to the SEC. So maybe OSU will have a chance in the Big 12.
Well, there you go. What, they're going to have 4 teams in it?
I guess so.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but if everybody else jumps ship, they're going to go where OU goes. But, I mean, why would OU go to SEC? Stay right where you're at. Stay in the Big 12, man. Big 12 was fun. You got the OU Texas game. You got the OU OSU games. I mean, it's just so fun. The Big 12 is the Big 12 is one of the strongest conference, man. I mean, what's the SEC? I mean, Big 12 every year they're putting 6-7 teams in a bowl game, you know. OU is one of them guys who are playing for the national, getting close to playing for a national championship. I mean, OU's been there, Lincoln Riley's been there for a few years. I mean, 3 or 4 years, he's been in in the bowl game or the playoffs. So, and I think they're supposed to expand on the playoffs, so more teams gonna get it. So, stay in the Big 12 and do your thing, man. Quit jumping ship. Stay where you're at. I mean, that's why I want to talk about it later. Some of these kids jumping ship. Sometimes the grass in Alabama is greener. I'm telling you, I cut my yard just earlier in my neighbor's yard, and my shit is greener than his. And he water his every day, and I don't even have water. I don't even have a sprinkler system. So it doesn't matter where you're at. Stay where you're at and play the game. Quit jumping ship. Doesn't mean it's better because you go to this school or that school. You see these kids transfer all the time. Why? Why? Because you're not playing. Because you was the man on campus at your high school. And guess what? Coach always told you, use the man, use the best, use this. And guess what? You get to OU, OSU, or Penn State, Alabama, you get to one of these schools, and there's 25 other guys just like you at your position, and now you ain't the man. Guess what? No, I ain't the man. I'm back up, go home. Well, shit, get better, work out. Get better, work out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and OU fans were not happy when he flipped his commitment too. So he posts on Twitter, he flips to OSU. You just see all the subtweets or whatever. Just dogging the kid. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, he's making the best decision for himself and his family. So, I wish him the best of luck. Even though I'm a diehard Sooner fan, but I wish him the best, and I hope he goes on and does big things over there at OSU. Number 3, we got Chris Mcclellan. Pretty sure he's a D lineman out of Owasso. I've heard about the kid. I haven't watched any tape on him or anything like that, so I don't really know how good he is. But I mean, if he's the 3rd-ranked player in the state, he's got to be pretty freaking good. So, you got that at Owasso, and then we talked about the lineman from Deer Creek, Jacob Sexton. He just committed to OU. He'll be a part of that 2022 class. 2022 class for OU really isn't that bad. I think they're ranked 7th or 6th right now in the recruiting ranking, so they're doing pretty good. And then they already they got the number 1 ranked class in the 2023 class of right now with only 2 recruits. So,
that number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, you got that number 1 quarterback, and you got that running back who's supposed to be pretty good. But let's see, Prep Red Zone's gonna make me pay for it here, but
everybody wants money though. Everybody wants money though.
Yeah.
But like I said, Big E, man, like I said, football season is it's right around the corner, man. They start camp. I think most schools start August 8th or August 9th, man. I think
a couple weeks.
Some of these schools are gonna do Midnight Madness. I doubt I ain't gonna do none of that, but I will make some of these schools practice like I did last year. Talk to some of the coaches and players, and then do a little small interview, and then hit it live because we have to change some things up now since football season right around the corner. We got to change it up when we're going to shoot because we want to have everything out to you guys. Friday night is the game, then JV games Monday night. We want to have the picks and the scores and all that for week first week to the second week. So we gotta look at some things that we're going to do different to get you guys the information you need. We're going into our second football season, man.
Yeah.
Most people think we're gonna make it this far, but I'll just tell you right now, I went saw my tax lady, and guess what? I still ain't made a dime on this.
Right.
That's keeping it 100. But you know what? I'm having fun though, man, and that's all that matters, man. I can sit in here and talk football with my man Big E, and then either on the phone with a coach or a player or somebody like that, man. And it's so cool to see. And I got to give love to the coaches that came and got the bio and the love they gave me back on Twitter. And folks, it's nothing about me getting love back and none of that. I do want everybody to watch Keep It 100 because I think Keep 100 is one of the best high school things that's out there, man. I know a lot of these guys, 247, these guys, they talk about this and that, but they're not giving you the goods and the bads. They're just giving you all the good. We give you the goods and the bad and the ugly. So, and that's what it's all about because people want to know what's going on in the sports, man. From recruiting to kids who's good and kids that we, like you said earlier, call out people get mad at me for what I say. But at the end of the day, it's all about what I want to say on this show. One, if I keep saying what shit you don't like, you're going to keep tuning in because you're going to be pissed off at me. You're going to be like, man, I got to get that guy. But, at the end of the day, I love every kid. Like I said before earlier, I love every young man and woman that puts on shorts, T-shirts, cleats, whatever they play because it's a hard work, man. It ain't easy being a student athlete, and then trying to get recruited and all that stuff. So that's my take on that, man. Big E, you got anything else before we bring Mr. Robert Jones on?
Man, not really. I mean, even though we're coming up on football season, it's been kind of a slow off season.
Yes.
Not a whole lot going on. You'll see a recruitment every once in a while, or a commitment, something like that, or offers, but other than that, it's been a pretty slow off season. But once we come back, we'll have Coach Jones from Dell City on the show, and we'll be right back after a couple of these sponsors.
Hey Zoe, I'm looking for some good insurance. Do you know anybody?
If you're tired of messing with the general, call Bobby Lewis. He can take care of your cars, house, boats, and even your pets. He has 2 locations, Dell City, 4805 Southeast 44th Street. The number is 405-670-3665. And his new location is 1654 South Choctaw Road, Suite 107. Like a good neighbor, Bobby Lewis is there.
With 25 years experience in the industry, Linex Customs Okc is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle accessory needs. Specializing in spray and liners, lifts, levels, wheels, tires, bed covers, and anything else you need to make your ride look and sound better. Call Eric and the boys at 405-778-8878.
Welcome to Keeping It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Our special guest tonight is Coach Robert Jones, the head coach of Dell City Eagles. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Great opportunity to be able to represent the Dell City community, the Dell City family, so I'm very appreciative of you guys having me here.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you right now, me being a bomber and you in here with all this red and black on, you can see the other day when we was on Facebook, somebody said to me, how you going to let a Dell City, such and such and such. My buddy Pat from Texas saw that, and I said, hey, I got Coach love for Coach Jones, though. But Coach Jones, man, it's exciting. You getting the head coaching job for Dell City.
Yes,
and
sir.
not only you being the head coach, but you're the first Black African-American head coach for Dell City Eagles, and nobody didn't know that, and the athletic director. How does that make you feel?
Well, everybody knows what's going on in the country right now.
Yes, sir.
With the racial tension and what's going on. And with Dell City being the most Black predominant city in Oklahoma, I think I have a great opportunity to kill some stereotypes.
Yes, sir.
I think I have a great opportunity to coach Black athletes and show that we can not only be Black great athletes, that we can be scholars as well and be men of character. That's what I want to preach to these kids, that no matter what you do on the field, you have to have character, and I really want to instill those in those kids so they can get back to the community of Dell City and build that community up, because I want to build a program that's similar to the Carl Alberts and Bixby's, and let people know that you can have a Black power program that can be successful in the community as well. It doesn't have to be an inner city type feel, but you can have a suburban type feel with the Black community through the educational system. So I'm excited about that, and I'm looking forward to what we can do.
Well, Coach Jones, we're sitting here tonight, and like I said, I know a lot of people know you. You played ball at Oklahoma City, went to Carl Albert. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you started at. Like I said, you started at Carl Albert. You started at Soldier Creek, was you a Steve young man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, going from, high school, off to college, and, your journey.
I got a very unique story, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually grew up in Dell City.
Okay.
From 1st to 6th grade, I went to Highland Park Elementary in Dell City. Then I attended Curd Middle School. Then I moved to Oklahoma City Public Schools for a couple of years, starting in 8th grade, and then to my sophomore year, and I went to U.S. Grand High School. Everybody knows the Oklahoma City issue, public school issue right now. So my mom wanted to get me in a better environment. My uncle lived in Carl Albert School District, so I moved over the spring semester of my sophomore year. And everybody understands what Carl Albert brings to the table and how it can change you. And we had a great relationship with Coach Rawlins. He helped me win a couple state championships in track, and in the relays, and the Open 100 and the Open 200. And I also went on to win a couple state championships in football, and I feel like that really gave me the characteristics that I needed to go on to the next level. Unfortunately, with me going to Oklahoma City Public Schools my first couple years in high school, my grades weren't great, so I had to attend NEO, which was a blessing in disguise.
Yes,
because
sir.
it
Yes,
made me
sir.
a man. NEO is a great place. If you can make it out of there, you can make it anywhere.
That's keeping it 100. That's keeping it 100.
And there's some great athletes there, and some great stories there as well. But I was there, and I I ended up being a junior college All-American, and you know, God blessed me with the opportunity to go on Oklahoma State. Coach Miles blessed me with a scholarship, so I went on Oklahoma State, played for 2 years, started for 2 years. It was a great experience, being in that atmosphere, getting those experiences. I don't care how long I coached. Those experiences that I got playing in the Big 12 for 2 years it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I started my coaching career at Carl Albert. I coached there for 2 years. I was blessed enough to win a state championship as a coach as well, which was a great opportunity. But you know, money calls. You know what I'm saying? So Texas was the place to be. When I was in my early 20s, Texas was the place to be, and you know, I had a great relationship with Mike Dunn, who's the athletic director and head coach at Carl Albert right now. He was already coaching in Texas, and he presented me with an opportunity to coach at Saginaw. It's a school, Saginaw High School in Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas. So I coached there for a few years, and I've been at several different stops. One of the stops I was at in Texas was at College Station, and I worked with Steve Huff.
Oh yeah, Coach Huff. Yeah,
I worked with Coach Huff, and if anybody knows Coach Huff, man, he's a hard worker, great man of character. He showed me some stuff I didn't get from Oklahoma as far as coaching ability, and all the other schools. You know, Texas is very competitive, and the thing I liked about it, coaching in Texas, is you never knew if you were going to be there next year. You had to coach your butt off. You had to have your off-season program going. You had to do things that I feel like Oklahoma needs to bring to the table.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to be under the microscope. I feel like we need to be under pressure. The kids deserve it. I feel like we need to be pushing them. So I coached 9 years in Texas, and Coach Dunn, Mike Dunn, got a head coaching job at Dale City, and he talked to me about coming on and being assistant head coach and defensive coordinator and strength coach. So I took advantage of that opportunity, and I've been at Dale City for 4 years, and I feel like the position I am right now, as far as being a strength coach, it helped me develop relationships with all the coaches, all the players, because I was a strength coach. So it prepared me well for this athletic director position. So I feel like the transition has been real smooth, and me being a Dale City kid. And I think it's a lot of stereotypes coming from Dale City. I think people think it's a gang-infested neighborhoods. I think people think it's a lot of drug dealers, and it's not.
No.
It's a lot of great neighborhoods in Dale City. It's a lot of great people in Dale City. I don't know where the stereotypes come. I don't know if it's built by the media, but I want to demolish that. I want to show people that Dale City is a great place. You don't win state championships in basketball, track. You know, we got players right now, Anthony Goodlow, Donovan Stevens, Jeff Foreman, they're all playing Division I footballs. You don't do that in gang-infested schools.
No.
So I want to kill their stereotypes.
Well, I mean, the thing you talked about, you know, Dale City, you know, I've talked about it on my show, because one thing I do here, Coach, I keep it 100.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
some people like it, some people don't, but I try to tell the truth, because at the end of the day, like when you got the job, you know, we was tickled because, like you kind of said, I mean, not taking that from Coach Don, because I've known Coach Don since he was 9 years old, and he's playing for the Dale City Dodgers. My team was kicking his, you know what, he'll laugh at that, but you know, when you got an African American coach that can relate to the kids, because I understand, I coach a team, Little League, and I had a couple kids, and actually one of the kids, you know, his brother played basketball, his mom played basketball, Slim.
Keandre Young.
Yeah, his brother Tyree played for me.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm gonna tell this quick story real quick. Tyree was from the east side, and I had a coach named DJ and a guy named Roman Durham. They both was, you know, two white coaches that helped me coach.
Yes, sir.
And Tyree didn't know how to handle, you know, dealing with a white coach.
Yeah.
He was always getting an attitude. And one day I pulled him to the side, my brother, and we said, "Hey, you never know, son. You might have to work for a white gentleman one day, or a
Absolutely.
white woman." I said, "So
Absolutely.
don't never treat people like that." You know, and I ran into Tyree, you know, a couple weeks ago. You know, he's trying to, you know, walk on an OSU. But just to see what this kid's attitude was before to what his kid's attitude is now, is that you never know, because I think you relating to the Dale City kids, carry yourself in a pot, because kids don't know games. Like, it's like racism. Nobody knows racism until you teach them racism.
Absolutely.
Our two kids can play. Our kids can play together in the playground, and no one's gonna know I'm black, I'm white. I mean, they're not gonna know that. But if mom or dad or whoever say something to them like, "Don't play with that colored kid," or "Don't play with this white kid," that's when it starts. So, what you're doing with the kids and the way you carry yourself is a well-dressed young black head coach. You and Coach Hawk both. It's going to turn Dale City around, and we're going to get into that, because one of the questions I have for you is that, you know, Dale City last year, with all the talent you guys had,
Yes, sir.
you guys won 3 games.
We went 4-7.
4-7.
4-7.
And I know, and like I said, we keep it 100 here. The one that, we had an episode and Reggie came on and he kind of talked about every coach should get fired, blah, blah, blah. The staff's not doing what it is. I mean, he has his freedom, right, but he wants to say whether it's right or wrong. But I know Reggie is part of your staff right now. So what kind of made you put him on your staff? Because some of the stuff he said, I know a lot of people caught a lot of grief about it. But I think at the end of the day, Reggie means well for the kids.
Well, over the last 4 years, me and Reggie developed a very strong relationship. We spoke on the phone just about every day, and I knew the man that he was. And I knew Reggie probably shouldn't have said that on the podcast, but honestly, Reggie, some of the things he said was true.
Yeah.
And maybe he could have worded it different, but it's true. We live in a profession that you win or lose, losses count as far as you keeping your job.
Yes,
this
sir.
is a profession where you have to win, you have to show a good product, you have to show the community that you're moving in the right direction. And Reggie was speaking the truth on some things. I feel like he could have presented it differently, but I knew his heart, and I knew our friendship, and I knew the skill set that he had as far as developing quarterbacks with his son, Quentin Ganther. And he brought a lot to the table as far as relationships, too. When we had those great teams with Del City, he had been working with those receivers, Colin and Keyshawn. He had been working with them, spending his own time.
Yes, sir, he did.
Getting on the road, going to Texas for 7-on-7. So I'm not going to let one mistake that Reggie made on a podcast changed my impression of him with the friendship that I had with him.
Yes,
and I knew what he could bring to the table. He's a very well-kept secret as far as quarterback coaches. A lot of people don't know. He's going to coach our quarterbacks. He's also going to help Coach Madonna with the passing game. And I'm excited about him. I'm excited that I gave him that chance to show people that I'm going to do things different. I'm going to go a little bit outside the box on some things. I'm going to do what I feel is in my heart. I'm not going to let a political atmosphere make my decisions for me. I'm going to make them for myself and go with my gut. And I'm excited about what Reggie's going to bring to the table.
No, I think Reggie's going to do a good thing for you.
Yes, sir.
As we are talking about, your staff, name some of the guys that you do have on your staff. Like I said, you are the new head coach of Del City High School, and so I know some people left, some people stayed. What do you have on your staff this year as far as, your defense coordinator, offense coordinator, and all those things?
Well, starting with my defensive coordinator, his name is Nino Williams. He's coming from Westmore. He played at John Marshall. He was a all-state type caliber player. He went on to Tyler Junior College, and he played with them as well. He was a junior college All-American, and he went on and started for the University of Missouri for 3 years. I knew the culture that I have set defensively, and I knew that whoever was going to replace me was going to have to be somebody similar as far as bringing the energy and also building relationships with kids. I felt like that was one of my strengths, and I knew that Coach Williams brought that to the table. So that was a great steal on our end. He's been doing a great job. He has got his defense implemented. I feel like we're not going to have no drop-off on that end, so I'm excited about what he brings to the table. Obviously, we already mentioned Reggie Ganther. I also brought in Coach McGuire. He was working for our middle school. He's going to coach our running backs. And then I moved up our head freshman coach, Kevin Sharp. I don't know if you know.
I know Kevin Sharp. Yeah.
Kevin Sharp.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great Christian guy. He focuses on attention to detail, so he does a great job as well. We still kept Coach Madonna. I think me and Coach Madonna's relationship is flourishing. I think that I'm letting him kind of do his thing. I'm not putting that pressure on him, and maybe that's what he's needed. I don't know what the relationship him and Coach Dunn had. I just know from since I took the head job, I like what I've seen. I feel like he's flourishing without that pressure on him that he probably once had. And then we kept intact most of everybody else. And I feel like our coaching staff is unique because we're building relationships. Del City's always going to have athletes. We're always going to have speed. If you think back to the Mike Woods, Benny Butler, I can go on and on about the athletes that Del City has had.
Josh Scobie,
Yeah, Josh Scobie. I knew that one thing that I had when I went to go make new hires and bring in new people, that it was going to be guys that were there for relationships, guys that really cared. You're going to have to pick up kids. You're going to have to make those late calls and the phone calls. We're just going to have a different style of mentality going into this type of atmosphere we have at Del City, and I feel like our staff is bringing it to the table. I'm excited to show everybody what we've been doing this summer, getting after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you briefly mentioned a second ago, you were the you're the defensive coordinator last year. Dunn goes to Carl over. You step into head coaching. How was that transition from defensive coordinator, and now you're the head coach and athletic director at Del City?
One thing I commend Coach Dunn on, he gave me a lot of responsibility. I was assistant head coach. Me and Coach Dunn had coached together for 9 years. So it wasn't like it was just Coach Dunn's show, it was our show. It was very blended in together. It was at times that Coach Young was busy handling athletic director roles and responsibilities, and I stepped in for him. And then being the strength coach and defensive coordinator, everybody knows when you're the strength coach, and we used to always say this in college, our strength coach was our head coach. Because
Right.
I remember at times in college, I wouldn't see Les Miles for 2 or 3 months, in the off season, but I would see that strength coach every day.
Every day, yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
I was in there every day with those kids. I built relationships with them, so the transition was easy. When Coach Dunn announced that he was leaving, I'm not kidding you, 5 minutes after he announced it, we got straight back in the weight room and it just kept going. And that's not to knock Coach Dunn.
Yeah.
It's more of a testament of the strength and conditioning program and the character development that we have implemented. And the kids didn't really blink an eye. We just kept it going, and that was the same thing with me. It never really fazed me, and I felt very comfortable stepping into that role.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Coach Dunn going to Carl Albert news breaks. I'm scrolling through Twitter, and you had some of your guys on Twitter saying, "I want Coach Jones to be the next head coach at Dell City." So how does that feel? Knowing that you just already have that respect. I mean, you just talked about it, but just go a little deeper. You're already having that respect and that love from kids.
Well, me coming from a single father home, when I got into this coaching world, even when I was coaching at Carl Albert and several schools in Texas, I've always been able to build great relationship with kids just because I'm a no-nonsense guy, but I'm also going to be that guy that's going to pick your butt up every day. I'm going to help you get shoes if you need it, whatever it is, that late phone call. So it felt amazing seeing those kids reach out to the community and show the administration that, hey, we want this guy to be our next leader. But I wasn't surprised just because I spent a lot of time building those relationships. I spent a lot of times having conversations with those guys. So we don't have conversations, honestly, that if that ever came about, that they knew that they wanted me to be the guy. So when I seen it, I wasn't very surprised, but I was very honored that they put me in that situation. But I've been in that same role in every high school I've been at, as far as that Black African-American role model that is mentoring not only African-American kids, but other kids from single father homes, because I know what it feels like. So it was a blessing to be able to have them speak that way about me.
So, Coach, what makes you different from other coaches, though?
I think every coach has their unique style. I think a couple things that come with me is, first of all, playing Big 12 football.
Yes, sir.
I don't think you can replace that. Those Saturday evenings, Saturday afternoons, playing in front of those big crowds, playing against the top players that we see on NFL today, that really gave me a conservative type mentality going into high school, because I've been in a lot of pressure-filled moments, so I don't really get all pressured up. My butthole don't get tight, and I think I'm great at building relationships, and that comes from my past experiences of, first of all, growing up in Dell City, growing up in a championship culture like Carl Albert, then you blend both of those.
Yes,
So it has given me a unique personality to be able to build relationships, but not only build relationships, but also implement a strong disciplinary type mentality with the kids that helps them have the character to be able to move on, not only in high school, but in high school and college as well.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. With Dell City, Middle City, Carl Albert, Choctaw all being 10 miles from one another, I think they need to set up games that everybody plays, but everybody, even if it's a scrimmage. I know back in the day they would have that scrimmage. You kind of do the scrimmage, then you play a game, and I would love to see that, because to me, I think you got that many good teams right here, and Choctaw has done a great job of coming up the last 4 or 5 years. With Jacobs done with the Yellow Jackets, bringing them up. Carl Albert, they're going to win. Dell City's going to win, and Middle City is still Middle City. So you got that many great teams right there. I think it'd be good for them to play each other. But I know Dell City's going down to 5A next year, right?
Yes,
so,
more than likely, yes.
Yeah.
It's a really good chance that we should.
And so I know it'd be kind of tough, 5A, 6A. They still do it now, but I would love to see that. To have that bragging rights, because everybody talks about Carl Albert. People give me hell last year on this show because I would say Carl Albert's going to get knocked off this year. Carl Albert's going to get knocked off. And I talked about Dell City last year. Dell City had so much talent, and I was even wondering, what happened to Dell City, But, things happen. COVID, took over, and I told me and he talked about this last year. If there's anybody who won a state championship last year, it was COVID.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
They knocked everybody out of the games. But I think this year's going to be wide open. I think you guys got a lot of talent. I think Coach Don, I mean, you got to keep it 100 here, folks. It's not, because Coach Jones sitting here. I think Colorado may lose 1 or 2 games because, I mean, one, you don't have that Ben Harris factor as a coach on the field. Reed Crazy is my boy. Me and his daddy played. His uncle, Brent, and his dad Richie. We played ball together at Midwest City. I think Reed is a great quarterback. I think it's going to take him time to get going. I think at the end of the year, and I tell people this all the time, I think Reed will be the 5A Player of the Year.
That's amazing.
I mean, the kid is. I mean, I've seen the kid in person. I went and watched him practice a couple of weeks ago, and I know Don's got to have to get used to what they're doing. And Colorado, like you had to bring new coaches on. Colorado didn't bring new coaches on. No. They just added another coach. Yes, they got 2 or 3 guys on that staff.
I heard Corley was the strength coach.
Yeah.
So I mean,
you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I mean, and I really want to ask you this question. Why did you not apply for that Carl Albert job? I mean, you from Carl Albert.
Absolutely.
And I know you got that relationship at Del City, but, and I said this on the show, not knocking Del City.
Yeah.
Carl Albert's probably driving that big Benz.
Yeah.
Del City's probably driving that little Mercedes, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking it because you gonna get them there. But that's me keeping it 100 because that's like having a college job.
Yeah.
And I can coach at Tulsa or I can go coach at OU. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking because I think you and your staff is going to do a great. And I'm going to tell you right now, keeping it 100 Oklahoma School Sport, this guy will play for a state championship this year. If Reggie can get the quarterbacks right, y'all hear it first on this show. If Reggie and Coach McDonald can get that offense going, because that defense ain't going to fall off. If they can, I'm putting pressure on you, offensive coordinator. If they can get that offense going, those guys will play for the state championship. I'm just telling you. Hey, Coach, what do you think about that, though? That's a lot of pressure.
First question about not applying for Carl Albert.
Yes, sir. Talk to me.
My relationships with those kids at Del City were so strong.
Yeah.
And then how last year went, and we started 0-5. I'm telling you, going into the year,
you're hungry,
just like everybody else. The prior year, we thought we were a state championship.
I did. I said it. Did we not say it here?
We did.
To start 0-5, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, and I did it with those boys. And they had the feeling that guys were coming in, and I'm just keeping it real. They had the feeling that guys were coming in for 1 a year or 3 or 4 years, and selling them a dream, and even having success with them. But they would always leave for suburban type schools.
No, I got you, baby. I got you, baby. You couldn't do it.
I couldn't
do it.
You couldn't do it. And I wanted to be, with all the racial tension that was going on in the country, I said, hey, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to apply for this one. If I get it, Lord willing, I'm going to be thankful. But I wanted to show America, I wanted to show Oklahoma that you can go to a predominantly black school and you can have great academics, you can have great kids who have great character, and have a great championship type atmosphere. And Coach Hatchett already did it in basketball.
Yes,
He's shown we can do it. And I wanted to bring that atmosphere to the football program. And honestly, Del City's athletic ability and the athletes they got coming up, it seemed like a great opportunity that I didn't want to pass up, so that's why I didn't apply. Now, as far as state championship next year, I'm a competitive person. I want to win a state championship, but I want to take it one day at a time.
One game at a time.
Because last year taught me a lot of stuff. I was looking far ahead. Yeah. I thought we was just gonna pave our way to it.
Hey, I had y'all pick me, Big E. But you know what I mean? That's our job on this show to say that kind of stuff because I want everybody to watch the show next week because that's what we do. We keep it 100.
Yes,
but Coach, like I said, I'm excited because I think you get this job and what you just said right now, and it's not a knock at Coach Don or knock at Coach Corbin because I think Don was there for a few years. I think Corbin was one and done. That was supposed to be his dream job. He left and went to Choctaw, but can't knock him because he coached my boys and he done a great job when he's at Choctaw. But you're right because it's easy. I'm gonna keep it 100. It's easy to coach a school like a Choctaw or a Carl Albert because it's not a dominant all-black school. The parents are behind it. Corbin's Touchdown Club. I mean, all he has to do is say, "Hey, go get me this." They're gonna go get it. All Don has to say, "Go get it." You, on the other hand, you have to struggle because you don't have this. One is a lot of single parents.
Yes, sir.
I grew up as a single parent. I mean, I grew up, and I tell you right now, me and my brother, and we didn't have money. My mom worked 3 jobs to take care of us, but she always provided for us. And when you have that, people do kind of downgrade you and think, oh, they're not good enough because they live in a 1-bedroom house or they live in a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
But then you got the kids over here that has all the stuff. But you know what? What you're doing with the kids at Del City, you're talking to education first.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about character in life,
Yeah.
not just in football, but
Yes,
just
sir.
in regular life, because football's over after a certain day. And another thing you talked about, it really tickled me to death because I wasn't a smart kid. I should have went to junior college. But you talked about you went to junior college. A lot of people are so embarrassed about going to junior college, but you became a junior college All-American.
I'll tell you what, NEO,
Taught you a
a
lot.
lot of high school football players in Oklahoma City every year have forgotten about NEO. When I was growing up, we knew about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like people with the social media,
Oh, I gotta go D1.
I gotta go D1. But I got kids that in the past at Del City that were Division II football players, that were Division I football players, and I feel like if they would have went to NEO, they would have got that dream.
Yes, sir.
Junior college is a great place to be if you feel like you got overlooked, or if you just didn't have the grace because you made mistakes. So NEO is a great place. Not only NEO, it's a lot of great junior colleges out there. Even Terry Wilson left Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Went to.
Yeah, he's at New Mexico now. He left Kentucky, but he went to, I believe it was either Garden City.
Yeah, Garden City. No, Garden City. Yeah,
Look
yeah.
what all he's accomplished. So junior college is not the end of end all.
No,
You know what I'm saying? It can be a
no.
great start, and it allows you the opportunity to mature, take smaller classes, get your associates. Then when you go to a 4-year university, you're able to transition into that university easily and be able to get your 4-year bachelor's degree.
Well, one thing I am going to say, I am tickled because, like you said, you kind of talked about it in the show earlier that, you talk about racism, and racism is never going to go away. We're in 2021, and it's still here. But, with Middale, and I got to give it to Andy Collier and the superintendent for the Middale schools, you have 2 African-American coaches, one at Del City,
Yes, sir.
yourself, and you got Coach Hall over at Midland City, and both you guys are athletic directors. So kudos to Andy Collier, because a lot of times you don't get that from a lot of schools, though.
No,
I mean,
no.
it sometimes they look at like, can I bring this guy? And one of the schools I could talk about this in this Mustang. I remember when the guy that used to coach Douglas in basketball.
Yeah.
He went over to Douglas. He went to the Mustang.
Yeah,
Won a couple state championships. Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
But then, Johnny ain't playing. Bobby ain't playing. I'm giving this money to this program, but my baby ain't playing. And guess what? Now he ain't there at Mustang because like I said, you don't want to say it, but you're always going to have racism. And I'm not saying racism played any part of that, but I'm saying
It's always gonna be there.
It's always going to be there, no matter what. I mean, is it you getting a job or you getting the? I mean, and it's tough because sometimes us African American people, we do make it a racism card. And I always try to tell my kids, is one thing they don't see in my house is color.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's about to get married here in a couple months to a white guy.
That's
6'7".
awesome.
You know what? I'm
That's
happy
awesome.
because he's 6'7". I might give me a kid.
NBA
Give me something out of it. My brothers up and have all
Yeah.
girls. But have you on this show, Coach, is exciting because one, is to have you in studio. We don't bring a lot of people in studio. Just to have you in studio and talk the real life of sports and what's going on in the real world. Because I tell you right now, it's tough on you because you, as a new head coach, as you can see now, you have a lot of kids transferring in and transferring out.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that's happening? What's going on in that point?
Man, our country is at a real crossroads right now. Me being a successful black man, I can't explain to people the feeling I get when I drive past a policeman. I should never feel the feeling like when I'm just not doing nothing wrong and I'm driving. And as soon as I drive, I tense up. I'm like,
No, it's funny you said
I look
that.
at my mirror like, damn, I'm not speeding. Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have that feeling, but it's there. For whatever reason, that tension's there. And I have a lot of past relationships built up from people throughout Oklahoma City, and we all know how small Oklahoma City is.
Yes.
And everybody at my age level has kids that are in high school, middle school, and they understand that the success I had, and they know where I came from. So they have kids that, are looking to come get coached by me because they know that they're going to get the real, authentic person because I've been where they have been. I've been where their sons are going through single parent homes. I've been in that situation before. So I think kids are wanting to come be part of the Del City family, and not only because of that, but also because of recruiting. Our kids are not only going to get scholarships, they're having great success on Saturdays right now.
Yes.
Anthony Goodlow is starting to toss. So Donovan Stevens, I've talked to certain people at Oklahoma State that he's one of the freshmen that might have an opportunity to play. Jeff Foreman is doing great things. Terry Wilson's doing great. So we got kids doing great things at universities. Then we got big time recruits right now, and that's all because of God-given talent that the area of Dell City has, even with David Stone being presented with opportunity to play at IMG.
Yes,
IMG
sir.
is a prestigious high school, and that was a great opportunity for David. He chose to stay, but I just think people are seeing those things happening at Dell City, and they're like, oh, what's going on in Dell City? And I'm telling you, it's great things going on right now. I'm excited to see what's going to unfold in the future.
So what do you think some of these coaches, though, some of these other high school coaches are trying to get kids to come over to their school? What is the bait on that? I mean, throwing a fishing rod out there, hey, come over here, come play for us. Why do you think so many coaches are doing that? Because when I played at Middle City, we didn't have any black coaches.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, one of my favorite coaches to this day is Coach Huggins. I call him Huggy Berry. He won a few state championship with Middle City, but he was one of my favorite coaches. I saw him every Saturday morning when he came to Beachville IGA and I bagged his grocery. But he's one of my favorite coaches. But
Yes, sir.
I never thought, hey, I didn't start as a sophomore at Middle City. I played a lot as a junior. That team was ranked number 2 in the nation, with Gundy and Drew and all those guys.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't play a lot, but I never said, you know what, Mom, I'm going to pack up. I'm going to go to Carl Albert. I would have played at Carl Albert.
Yeah.
I'm going to pack up and go to Jones. I would have played at Jones or Choctaw. But these kids now are jumping ship, and I wonder why are they jumping ship? Because my boys had that opportunity to leave.
Yeah.
We almost left and went to Dell City. But at the end of the day, Gabe was like, well, this is where my friends at, so I wrestle. And Coach Roof was a hell of a wrestling coach at Dell City at the time.
Yeah.
Gabe wrestled for him on the Fargo team. And I love Coach Dunn, and I loved you because, like I said, even though me and you didn't talk or knew that, I knew a lot about you.
Yeah.
Because of Coach Dunn. I mean, Zoe was at Westmore. We could have left with the Westmore, but I was wondering why these kids are jumping ship and thinking that, hey, it's better to go over here because they think, hey, you go over here, they're going to get you D1. Not necessarily. And I said this earlier on my show. My neighbor's grass is green. My shit is green too.
Yeah.
He has a water sprinkler system. I don't.
Yeah.
So the grass is always green on the other side.
Oh,
Sometimes you got to
no.
stay at home because you're going to do everything. I know what you and Don did at Dell City. You're going to do everything you can to get kids recruited. And kids at your school get recruited. You got the best sophomore in the state?
Best sophomore in state.
I mean, IMG's, this ain't Bobby Joe Bowl coming to come get. This is IMG trying to come get this kid
Yes,
to come
sir.
play for him.
Yes,
That's
sir.
big time. That
That's
tells you
real big
what
time.
you're doing with your program. So actually tell me, I know I had 3 or 4 different deals, but
Yeah.
but kind of tell me why is these kids, trying to leave and go other places?
I
Why are
think-
people recruiting and these
I
coaches?
think it's several different reasons. First reason is you look at the professional athletes, Kevin Durant, and I can go on and
Let's
on.
keep it
People
real.
are trying to build super teams, so our kids are looking at like, damn, they're jumping ship. Nobody has that loyalty like they used
No,
to.
they don't.
Nobody's like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan to stay with a franchise forever. Secondly is kids with this day and age, with the social media, with the college recruiting where it is, they don't like to be coached hard. And I'm gonna coach you but hard.
Woo! Keep it what?
I'm just telling you,
What happened?
and I'm gonna coach you hard, and I don't care if you're the best player in the state or you're the weakest player on our team. You're gonna get coached the same. And I think kids get uncomfortable with that, and I think some programs have, for the lack of words, they want to sell themselves to the devil by letting kids act any way they want to.
No,
in
you're
that
right, you're
program.
right, you're
And that's
right.
not right. I'm not gonna allow that. So certain kids be like, well, shoot, I can go over there, and they're not gonna treat me the same. They're gonna let me do what I want to do. That's not happening. And then thirdly is, I think some of these schools, without saying any names, I think they are trying to take the easy way out. Play with your players in your district.
Coach your kids up. Coach the ones
Coach
you
them
got.
up.
Don't go get somebody else's kids and coach.
Yes.
Coach what you got. You
Play
know.
what you got. Stop going to other districts. Stop looking at the top rankings. Coach who shows up August 9th this year and work with that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. And then if a kid contacts you and he wants to move over for family reasons or he moved into your district, that's fine. But it should be no reason why coaches should be reaching out to high school kids, asking them to come over, coach who you got.
Coach 'em
You-
up.
You made a commitment to the community. You accepted the job in that community. So if you did accept that job, you should accept the kids that are in that community,
That's
like
it.
I've done with Dell City. Coach your kids.
Coach
and
your
don't try to go
kids,
get
man.
other kids.
Yeah, that's it. That's keeping it real because I think a lot of these coaches, it's easy for me to go get Joe, and Joe can play this spot. Then guess what? This kid's been sitting in the waiting for the last few years. Now finally gonna get on the field. Finally gonna get a field.
That's
Guess
sad,
what?
man.
Boom. 2 other kids moved in. Now this kid go from being 1 to 2. And I'm not saying the kids shouldn't work hard because I tell my kids all the time, especially you get in college, everybody's good. High school, you might have 70 kids, but you might have 25, 30 that's good.
Yes.
But the rest of them, like you said, are B team or third team. But I'm
Sure.
saying in college, everybody's good. That's why you're there. So these kids got to learn the ones that's getting that easy path. When they get to college, those are the ones that ain't gonna make it because They always got the golden brick road, and now I got to work for it. And like you said, they're getting coached up. They're not. I mean, Gunny probably. I mean, I know you played for Les Miles. Gunny probably know half of those kids' names. Les Miles probably. If you wasn't one of his main guys,
They didn't know you.
he didn't know you.
No, absolutely not.
And that's where it's gonna be in college. If you ain't putting out and doing what you got to do, and I keep it 100 real quick. Andre Johnson, you played with him.
Yeah.
I watched Andre's highlight film, and I thought he was the best thing that ever came out. He was at Chicken Shake. He never played at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Didn't touch the film. The guy was cold.
Yeah.
But that just tells you had 25 other Andres at the, at school.
Right.
So I mean that's just the thing. Big E, you got any other questions for Coach Rob?
Yeah, I mean, stepping into head coaching, just coaching in general, what is your why for coaching?
I would say my why is myself. I feel like I was presented with an opportunity to play Division I football. I feel like I could have got further and probably played in the NFL, but I feel like I didn't get nobody was preaching character to me. Nobody was preaching the daily responsibilities that you have as a person to make you better, not only as a person, but as a football player. So my goal is to really preach character, especially at Dale City, because I feel like we're going to have athletes. We're going to be fast. We're going to have those natural attributes that make you a great football player. So I really want to preach character to them because, like Tony said, football is going to run out, and it runs out for everybody. So I want to make sure when it does run out for them, they have the characteristics as a man to be able to carry on life and be a great father, be a great husband, and be a great brother or whatever it is. I want to give them those attributes, and I want to show these kids the way to go. And obviously, with Dale City being the most predominant black city, I take pride in that. I take pride in I've been blessed with that responsibility, especially where America is right now, to show that we can kill some stereotypes and go in a different direction.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach Jones, you get close to the season, man. You guys got about 2 or 3 weeks away before practice, and it all kicks off, man. I know you got butterflies, but being in 6A small, granted you go 5A or not 5A, but being in 6A small, rank the top 14 in 6A small. And keep it 100 now. That might be the toughest question you
As I
have.
rank these teams, before I rank them, I'm saying I'm not putting us in there because I feel like we got a lot to prove. So I'm just going to rank. We're not in those rankings, but we're going to make some noise. Obviously, I'm a real believer in consistency. Show me what you've done. What have you done for me lately? And I think everybody found out last year when Bixby wasn't ranked #1, what they can do. So I'm going to put Bixby right there.
Bixby won.
Okay, obviously, Choctaw made some noise, and they showed that they are one of the teams that I've seen since I've been here really challenged Bixby and possibly should have won that game.
Should have won the game.
I watched the game myself.
Yeah.
I feel like Choctaw should have won. So I put Choctaw #2. And then you got to go with the athletes, with what Booker T brings to the table right now, our first opponent. They got some great athletes. They got guys getting offers from Florida, USC. Every time I turn around, I see one of these top programs in the nation, the Blue Bloods, offering their kids. So Booker T. And then I think it's a toss-up on the next one. It's pretty tough. You got Midwest City right there. You got a lot of teams. PC North, but I'm going to roll with Coach Hall.
Coach Hall, he give you that love, Coach
Yes,
Hall.
sir. My Middale fellow partner, he has a couple of state championships. He's won one at Star Spencer and won one at Booker T. So anytime you have that type of experience and those type of athletes that Midwest City has, I think you're always going to bring something to the table.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
Ease your turn. I'm going to finish this up. Who you got?
Talk about some of the guys that.
No, I'm talking about ranking. Who would you rank? Who's your top 4?
Oh, my top 4. Oh man, you really going? I'd have to agree. Bixby won. I'll throw Choctaw in there too. 3. I think I got the same top 4 as Coach Jones over here.
I'm
Not gonna lie.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna say Bigsby won because, like I said, you still got the Presley. They do got to replace the quarterback. They got one of the top receivers, in the state. I think they got some players that people don't know about. Me and Coach Cole, their defensive coordinator, defensive back coach, has become really good friends. We'll text here and there. I'm gonna put, like I said, I'm gonna put Bigsby 1. I'm gonna put Stillwater #2. I'm gonna put Dell City. I'm gonna put Dell City #3. I'm gonna put Choctaw #4. But I'm gonna tell you folks right here. You heard it first. On this, keep it 100.
You're not putting Booker T nowhere in there?
Time out. Let me finish, Big E. I'm gonna tell you, Booker T got all the talent. But I'm gonna tell you, the Booker T problem is they don't have a coach like this. And I'm not knocking Booker T's coach. I don't know him, but you gotta know how to win. You gotta have that discipline. And I don't think they have that. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna come down. Dell City's gonna play Choctaw in the first and second round. You
That'd
hear me,
be a
baby?
great game to watch.
Damn great game.
I
We're
love
gonna find
it.
out.
I
We're gonna find out.
love
And you're gonna have Stillwater and Bigsby that everybody wanted last year. But I'm gonna tell you, Stillwater wants it because they feel like they got shafted last year. They got beat out. Chata knocked them out. Boom. I'm telling you right now, state championship is gonna be Dell City. Dell City. And I'm not saying it because he's here. I'm saying it because I'm keeping it 100. Because they supposed to do it last year. They didn't do it. I think Coach Jones is gonna fight for it. He's gonna get those boys right. I'm telling you, if Reggie and Madonna, I'm putting pressure on you. If they can get it right at that QB spot and get everything going, they got some great running backs. They got some good receivers. They're gonna be fine. So you heard it first. Dell City in Stillwater for the state championship. You heard it first, right here on 7/20, 6 o'clock.
That's an early prediction.
I'm taking it.
It's not even week 0 yet.
Hey, it don't
They
matter,
don't even
baby.
start
Hey, it's
practicing
time.
yet.
It's time to get busy, baby. I'm not saying it because, hey, I'm not an Eagle. I'm a Bomber. Coach Hall, I love you, but I think he's a little bit down this year. I think, hey, you're gonna have some bumps and bruises, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Bigsby's not gonna get back because it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Choctaw. Hey, Coach Corbin, I like you. Gave you some steals, so I hope you guys like the show. Keep watching me. I know y'all get mad at me, but I still love you. But I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be Dell City and Stillwater for the state championship.
Wow.
And I tell you,
Dang.
week 12, who wins it?
Wow.
All right.
Hey, Coach, I put some pressure on you. So go in on what else you got, Big E? Get fired up in here, folks. That's what we do over here.
Dang.
Man, I had a question, but now you got me. I don't even know.
Tell me about some of your players, though. We haven't asked that.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about some of the guys you got.
I'll start with the seniors, man. We got a great group of seniors. Jason Smith, he played Mike Backer for us, and he's gonna play running back for us. He's 6'2", 235. He's a great athlete.
That's why he's gonna be in the finals.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a great athlete. And then obviously we got our 2 juniors, Nigel Thomas. He has several big Power 5 offers: Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Iowa State. He's been starting since he was a freshman. He's a cornerback. I'm gonna move him to running back as well. So you have that tandem with Jason Smith, the power bruiser, and then you have Nigel, the game breaker at any time. His game is very similar to Marshall Falk. And then you got Jaden Foreman. He's a 6'4", 250-pound defensive end. But I'm also going to use him as a tight end. I think
You gotta use him.
we got to utilize those athletes, and we're going to play both ways.
Play both
We're
ways.
gonna play
I love
both
it. I
ways
love
in
it.
School. Then obviously you got the guy that everybody's been talking about. He's been the talk of town in the spring. He has Texas, OU, A&M, LSU's been reaching out to me about him. David Stone. He's going to be a difference maker. They've been comparing him to the likes of Gerald McCoy. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. So
He's just a sophomore, though, right?
yeah. And the thing I like about Dell City, I've named all those big names, but it's about 15 more guys that could be collegiate football players
I hear that all the
that have
time, though,
speed
man.
and that can do some things.
And I just think that what you got over there, man, and those kids going 4-7 last year. And this is funny because this is real. I remember Jake's first year there. I think he went 6-4. And I'm thinking, oh man, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. Gave him junior. You guys junior. I'm thinking they're gonna be good, man. We're gonna go to state. Blah blah blah. They go 4-6. I mean, I'm like, what the hell, you know? So you go from having that decent year, then you go 4-6. To the next year he goes 8, 8-3 or whatever, 8-4. Lose 2. Lost to Dell City, lost to PC North, and lost twice to Stillwater. And then the next year, guess what happened? He goes to state championship. So. And I think that's what Dell City's at, and that's why I kind of predict that, man. I'm a football guru. I sit back and watch stuff because I'm telling you right now, nobody knows nothing about Dell City.
No.
They don't. I mean, they don't know. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
They don't know what they got. I mean, you don't have Reggie's boy. I mean, you don't have Q at QB no more. You had the kid last year that played QB a little bit. That when they ended up going to Pitt State. What's his name? Jacoby.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you the deal about Jacoby. I know we're jumping off a little bit. The year that when Q got hurt, Jacoby came at QB.
Yeah.
Nobody knew nothing about Jacoby. Q was a running thrower. Jacoby was more of a passer. But when Jacoby ended up being a QB and people knew he really couldn't throw, what did? They load the box up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it took away. But then when y'all moved the other kid
Yes.
to QB, they could throw a little bit. Jacoby had running back. You start winning some ball games.
Sure.
It's all right there. So, and that's why I say a little bit about Chata. No one knew about Steele last year, his game, because his game, he can run a little bit, throw a little bit, he can throw the deep ball. But now that, hey, I'm going to spy somebody on that kid. I'm going to have somebody spy on that kid. Now you can prepare for a game. You don't know how to prepare for that kid. I mean, it's tough. You know, like Bigsby, you don't know what the quarterback got, but he ain't gonna be the kid you had for the last 2 years. Kind of like with Reed over at Carl Albert.
Yeah.
You don't know what he got because you ain't prepared for him. Reed is more like a Luke Torman from Bishop McGinnis.
Yes.
Kid can run. I'm telling you, you get Reed in open field, he's gone. But it makes Carl Albert more dangerous now that you can run that option with him and Brazil. That's gonna cause some fits. So kids gonna be open downfield. There you go. So that's where you're at. And in my 5A prediction, Colorado will lose 2 games, but they're playing for the state championship.
That's awesome.
I mean, Coach John's gonna get him one. Coach John and Coach Jones both gonna get him one. What? Hey, that's a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Coach Hall, you'll get yours next year. But Andy, you gotta be proud, man. You know.
Yes,
But anything else, Big E, before we wrap this up?
Just to wrap everything up, question: what can people expect from the Del City Eagles this year?
I think we're going to be, obviously, always athletic and fast. I think we're going to be a lot more disciplined. I think you learn from your experiences. I think experiences shape you. Last year, I can't explain what it feels like to be ranked number 2 going into the season and start 0-5 with 8 Division I football players.
Yeah.
When you take a blow like that, you have no option but to grow. So I think our kids learn from that, and I think they learn that rankings mean nothing. Predictions mean nothing. You're going to have to go out there and show it. So I think our kids are fired up. I think our kids are excited about the new blood of having me there. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do. But we're going to be a more disciplined team. We're going to be able to handle adversity. And we're going to win games in the 4th quarter this coming up year.
And that's
So
the
I'm
most
excited
important
about
thing.
it.
That's the most important thing, winning games in the 4th quarter. Well, Coach Jones, man, it's a pleasure having you on the show, man. Keep it 100 Oklahoma High School sports, man. And I tell you, just listening to you, man, and listen to you talk. And we've had some great speakers on here, but just the way you carry yourself, man. I don't know how old you are, man, but you're a man with a lot of wisdom for
Sir,
young.
I appreciate it.
I mean, just the way you carry yourself, and that's why parents. I mean, that's why all those kids are like, hey, I want to play for him because just the way you carry yourself. I mean, as me as a father, if I had another kid, I know I've said this before, but I'd be tickled to have my kid come play for you.
Yes, sir.
Watch out, Bax. Go. We got the dog on the show tonight, man. Baxter. Go, watch out, boy. Go. That's what we do. He keeps 100 with us too. But just the way you carry yourself, man, it's just a pleasure, man. Just getting a chance to talk to you, and I mean, just the love that you have for Coach John. One thing I will say before I let this go, I wish football was more like it used to be, because I feel like now football we're friends.
Yeah.
I wish it'd be like, man, I'm playing such and such fight now. I can't go out there. I'm ready to go out there and whoop his butt. But to me, it's like, and I know you don't want to be that way, but I always try to solve in my daughter's head. Sometimes you got to go out and have that. You talked about it, that Michael Jordan, that Kobe, that killer.
Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis. Last night.
Oh, man.
He didn't have. He
game
didn't leave. He didn't go to a super team.
Nope.
But for him to go
We're talking
win that,
about
he made a He made a statement.
Made a statement.
Yes, sir.
And I think sometimes we get caught up in all that, like, hey, that's my buddy. I don't want to play fit. Hey, that's your buddy after the game. We shake hands. You know what? Then we go from there. But like I said, I think Del C made a great decision on Miss Hill, picking you and Collier and whoever was involved in it. I mean, I think everybody won. I think Colorado won, getting done, him getting to go back home. I think Del City won, even though, like you said, you was a Del City kid, was at Kurt, but I think they won too, getting you because, and I'm not trying to get all Christian, but God works in mysterious ways.
Yes,
like I
sir.
said, I think
Absolutely.
everybody won, though. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the
Thank
show,
you. I
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
man. We'll come out to a
Appreciate
practice,
it. Yes, sir.
and we'll cover some of your kids because I think you got some of the best kids in the state. The folks, you heard it here first on Keep It 100. Del City still want to play for the state championship, small 6A. We'll talk about big 6A next week. Thanks for joining another great show. What?
Keeping it 100 Oklahoma High School sports. Thank you.
See ya.